Satnam. Hi Astro friends and family. My name is Karine. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher and also astrologer, and I work on Lada's channel. And today we are going to talk about career and money for 12 signs in 2023. And remember, this is a general reading, so everyone has a different chart. So if you want a specific one for yourself, you can check the link below and you can find the information how to book reading with me. So before we start, just a quick introduction how I read the chart and also how you can use this reading. So I use tropical zodiac and the whole sign house system, and I apply Vedic astrology techniques in all my readings. So please don't use any unequal house system for this reading. Traditionally, people use sidereal zodiac and in Vedic astrology. But Ernst Wilhelm, the teacher that I learned from, if you're interested in astrology, you must have heard of this person. And he stopped using sidereal zodiac for Vedic astrology. I think it's in 2005, because he tests tropical and sidereal for all the Vedic techniques. And tropical trumps every time. So that's why he stopped using sidereal for Vedic astrology, I think at least 10 years ago. So this is where and how I learned from him, and this is also how I'm going to do my readings. And usually I use planetary dristis, like each planet, they have a specific eyesight, and when they shoot the eyesight to different places, that also sends the influence to the houses. But because the topic today is about career and money, so I will only mention the aspect, the dristi that is related to this topic. So not every aspect will be mentioned. So Jupiter will be in Aries from 21st of December and will stay in this sign until 16th of May in 2023. So that means right now, Jupiter is very soon to entering into Aries and will stay there for at least 5 months. And then Jupiter will enter Taurus from 17th of May, and then we will stay there for a year. So until 25th of May 2024. And Saturn will enter in Pisces on 7th of March and will stay there until 13th of February 2026. So almost 3 years time. But in between, Saturn will enter into Aries for a brief time and then will go back to Pisces. So approximately 3 years time. And so this reading is good if you look at from your rising sign as well as your moon sign. In Vedic astrology, apart from the birth chart, they also have this moon chart. So it means that we read everything from the moon's perspective, moon's placements. So your moon signs become your ascendant, your first house. And so you can look at the transits from the moon, and it's called Gochara in Vedic astrology. That's the specific term for that. And you can also, if you like, you can also turn your charts, like your birth chart, and read from your moon placements. Particularly if you're over 50 years old, it's good to look at from your moon chart, because all the planets will be mature during that time. For example, Rahu matures at the age of 42 and Ketu matures at the age of 48. So all the planets and the 2 points, they will be mature. And if you read from your moon, you will also feel more consciously and emotionally connected to the prediction, because moon rules our consciousness and emotions. And this reading, it's not so much about looking at from your sun sign, but if you like listen from your sun sign, you can do that as well. Now, there are several rising signs for next year. They are quite important. They are having a big year next year in 2023. So like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Pisces, and Leo. They all have planets go through their first house, particularly Aries and Taurus. These two signs, they have planets go through their 12th house as well as their first house. So they're having the beginning and also the ending happening at the same time. So this is like big year. Why first house is very important is because when planets transit in the first house, it's the most important transit in life. The first house rules you, your path in life, your identity, who you are. The planets that are transiting through the first house are going to have a profound impact on your growth. And the planets that move through the first house is going to make you who you are, make you become who you're meant to be, and also lay out the path for you. And because the ascendant is always about learning to becoming the best version of you along the path. So when planets move through the first house, each planet will do what it needs to do to help you to become better in your life. For example, different planets, they have different mission. Particularly when planets move through your first house and go retrograde, becomes extremely important. That's why Jupiter and Saturn, when they transit your first house, is always important, because these two planets, they always they go retrograde when they transit in one sign. Venus, Mercury, and Mars, they are fast-moving planets, but when they transit your first house and go retrograde, they become extremely important. Now, Taurus rising, Taurus moon. Saturn will travel through 11th house from March 2023, and it will stay there until February 2026, so 3 years time. And Jupiter will move through your 12th house from December 2022, and then will stay there for 5 months time until mid-May 2023. And afterwards, Jupiter will move into your first house and will stay there for 1 year until 2024. So 11th house is Saturn's house. Even though Saturn brings delays, challenges, extra responsibilities during this transit, but the final results that Saturn brings, it will manifest in the positive results. And 11th house rules gains, money-making, recognition, titles, and trophies. It also rules long-term dreams and goals, network circles, marketplace, elderly siblings, and communities, social movements. So during this transit, it requires extra work and repeated efforts and patience working towards your goal, your long-term dreams and goals. And you will also need to follow Saturn's rules, like doing things step by step in a lawful abiding way, perseverance and patience. And bear in mind, when Saturn transits in the house, it's a period of effort. So you will only receive your recognition, reach your goals by the end of the transit, because Saturn also brings delays, that's why. So recognition, titles, and honor are possible. It's just not that fast. Be patient. And if you're in the business field or doing any kind of business activities during this transit, there might be more regulations or rules from the government or from the community, and which can slow down the speed of making money, or you might need to work through the hustle to meet those demands. But as long as you follow Saturn's rules, as long as you follow rules, not cutting corners, Saturn transit in the 11th house will be very supportive with your efforts. And similarly, if you're working in a big organization, social movement, or in a community setting, your work requires networking, or if you're in the marketplace, or if you're in a distributed system, there might be extra work responsibilities and duties in those professional fields. In general, setting a goal, reaching a goal, making money, expanding your network circles will still be supportive during this transit, but the process might be long and slow and delayed, and in a more regulated manner. And Saturn is a practical, realistic planet. So when it transits in the 11th house, it brings a reality check to your long-term dreams and goals. So you may readjust your focus, like you focus on what's really matter to you, what's really important to you, and get rid of those unrealistic ones, which can make you extremely productive on your path. And 11th house rules friends, because Saturn brings more duties and responsibilities and work. So you might not have no time for your friends. And also Saturn can also has this separating factor. So during this transits, you can be temporarily separated from your friends. Overall, just like I said, the recognition, titles, pay rise, promotion can be delayed during this transits. In a way, it means that your paycheck, your money remains the same, but the work responsibilities, duties become heavier. But it's only temporary. So by the end of the transits, you will reap your rewards. So be patient. Now, Jupiter will move through the 12th house from December 2022, and it will stay there until mid-May in 2023, so 5 months time. 12th house is another important house. any planets transit the 12th house is very, very important. As we mentioned earlier, when planets transit the first house, it is a time when the planet's trying to make you, develop you. But when the planets transit the 12th house, it is when we actually get our gifts from the planets, which is Jupiter. You will get the gifts that's related to Jupiter. It could be a realization, it could be conclusion, it could be closure or finishing the business that's related to Jupiter. And in Vedic astrology, one of the interesting things about 12th house is it represents our last desires. So it's like the last desire that you gain or fulfill before you move on to the next level, which is the first house. So how are you going to end this with Jupiter? So when Jupiter transits the 12th house, Jupiter can give you the satisfaction of getting the final realization of Jupiterian things, or you can get a gift that's related to Jupiter. And it can also be the time when you complete something that Jupiter represents. You finish the business that's Jupiter represents. For example, children, gurus, guruhood, your relationship with your teacher, spirituality, religion, wealth, or your husband. So you might want to get rid of your husband. It really depends on your whole chart. But these are Jupiterian things. Either you have a conclusion, either you have gifts from Jupiter from those things, or you just want to get rid of them. For example, you might finally have a kid after many years of trying, or you could be done with having children because you have 3 kids and a family that you want. So you are complete in that area. Or it could be that you finally meet your spiritual teacher that you've been longing for. Or it could be that your relationship with your particular spiritual guru comes to an end. So yeah, topics like gurus, teachers, wealth, spirituality, religion, and husbands, particularly in women's charts, will be highlighted during this transit. So it's an important transit. Other things about Jupiter transit in the 12th house is if you're more spiritual inclined or spiritual practitioners, you get deeper understanding in your spiritual process. You might realize a lot of things through your meditation, deep contemplation, or you can make progress in your spiritual development. It's easier for you to tap into your intuition as well, connect with your intuition. But if you are less spiritual inclined, Jupiter will still expand your interests or knowledge about spirituality, religion, symbolism, dream world, or imagination like music, art, and so on. 12th house also rules like traveling to distant lands, retreats, sanctuary, and escapism. And you might be inspired to travel to a faraway place, far away from your birthplace, an island or an exotic place. If it's not traveling, you might want to travel in books regarding fantasy novels, reading more fantasy novels, philosophy, or reading or watching films that can stimulate your imagination or fulfilling your dream world. 12th house is associated with escapism. So there's a tendency to escape this reality. And it could be through traveling, reading, or daydreaming. So be careful with that because Jupiter has this very allowing, permissive energy. So you might allow yourself to escape reality too much. Like, for example, drug use, alcohol, or spending too much time in bed, too much time on unrealistic ideas, or too much time in video games, because some of the video games is also helping you to escape from this reality. So pay attention to that. Then Jupiter will move through from 12th house to first house. It's like a rebirthing. You ending something with the Jupiterian things, and then you come to the first house. Do more and learn more about first Jupiter. So Jupiter will enter into your first house from mid-May 2023 and will stay there for 1 year until 2024. So in the previous phase, like I said, we finished things that are related to Jupiter, fulfill your final desire regarding those things, and then you move on to the next cycle. And Jupiter transit in the first house is a very important transit. In Vedic astrology, whatever planets go through the first house and goes retrograde, it becomes extremely important. And when people have Jupiter transit in the first house, the major experience they're going to have is expansion. Expansion in your money situation, expansion in wisdom and happiness, because Jupiter is the significator of wealth, wisdom, and happiness. And the experience during this transit is not necessarily exclusive. It could be like in all three areas. And during this transit, Jupiter could bring opportunities to improve your money situation. Perhaps you start to make money for the first time, or you start to make more money with your business. There might be some positive developments in your money situation, because that's how Jupiter brings the expansion in your money situation. And when we do have some money, we have more freedom to do the things that we want, to explore, to create, perhaps taking more courses, learning new things, traveling to different places to see the world. The blessing on the money situation definitely gives you the freedom to expand your horizons, and you'll be more inspired to learn new things during this transit as well. Also, Jupiter will bring more opportunities to open you out to more opportunities, and you feel more positive and optimistic about your future, about your life path. But having said that, because Saturn transit in the 11th house is also looking at first house, so Saturn is also shooting the influence to the first house. So the blessings and also the luck that Jupiter brings will be reduced. And you might not feel you're the luckiest person in the world, but luck's still there because it's the angular house. Another manifestation that Jupiter can bring during this transit is that you could meet someone who has a profound impact on you, like a teacher or guru or an advisor, or it could be a book, it could be a video, it could be a talk, or someone who helps you to understand things or to help you to see things from a different perspective, open up your visions. So if you have embraced or met a guru during Jupiter transit in your 12th house from December to May, chances are the relationship with this teacher or with this guru can be a long-term relationship. Or if you happen to end a relationship with a teacher, a guru or something, or if you've been longing for a teacher, chances are when Jupiter transit in the first house, you might meet someone who is more suitable for your stage of life. And Jupiter rules our belief. When Jupiter transits the first house, it's always testing our belief about money, belief about happiness. And there might be some situations make you think deeply about the relationship between money and happiness. So yeah, when Jupiter transits the first house, it also brings some meaning and purpose and wisdom. Other things when Jupiter transits in the first house is it can increase your self-confidence, how you feel about yourself, how you envision your future. You become more positive and optimistic about the path that you're on. It brings inspirations about where you want to go, what you want to do, and who you like to become. You can receive more opportunities to direct you on the path that will bring you more happiness. When Jupiter transits in the first house, opportunities for new career might present itself. If you've been thinking to start some projects like business projects, creative projects, but having problems or difficulties, now is a good time. You will feel more confidence in what you're doing. And this is also a good time for business development. And during this transit, you might want to travel more to see the world. You might be inspired to, discover more different cultures. Okay, so that was a brief review about your career and money in the upcoming year. I wish you a year of abundance, support, love, wisdom, and guidance. And if you need a personal reading, you can find the information in the link below. Thank you.